You can please get started, huh? Whoever is singing the bhajan.
Hello, my name is Arnav, and I'll be singing Guru Devatava. Guru Devatava Mahaniya Kripa. Guru Devatava महनीय कृपा मेरे जीवन का अवलंबन है मेरे जीवन का अवलंबन है बस एक यही मेरा बल है बस एक यही मेरा बल है गुरुदेव पतवा महनीय कृपा अज्ञान भरे संशय से भरे विपरीत विचारों से भी भरे विपरीत विचारों से भी भरे मन के अंधकार को दूर करे वचनामृत से तव बोध कृपा गुरुदेव तव महनीय कृपा पल पल पग पग जीवन पथ पर गुरु साथ मेरे रक्षक बनकर विसरू न कभी प्रेममयी आनंदमयी भवदीय कृपा गुरुदेव तव महनीय कृपा. Thank you.
Hari Om, everyone. Can you all see my screen well? Okay, good. Hari Om. O Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Ramo Rajamanis Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Bihata Nisha Charachamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha. रामान्नास्ति परायणं परतरं रामस्य दासोऽस्म्यहं रामे चित्तलयः सदा भवतु मे भो राम मामुद्धर समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्यां मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्माः ते मयि सन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Hari Om everyone. Welcome to this first session of this retreat. Those of you who missed yesterday, we just went over the meaning of this Shanti mantra. As you all know, we'll be studying Chandogya Chapter-6 in this retreat. A very important Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad. Amongst all the chapters which are there in Chandogya, 6th chapter is the most important one. That is why we have chosen this. Why it is important, we will reflect upon it later. Vedanta in general covers so many topics. But the main takeaway from all of that is Vedanta is talking about me, myself. It might describe creation, it might describe so many other elements of this creation. But end of the day, it is trying to tell something about me, myself. So whenever we begin any inquiry to any Upanishad, we should always begin with our own experience. Puja Gurudev used to say, become a judge of your life. Okay, meaning what? Evaluate every experience very carefully, and if possible, evaluate it in the light of Upanishads. So let us try to do that. Let us try to look at one way of looking at our life so far. So what is it that we are going to look at right now? Let us look at the key accomplishments that we have had in our lives. Right from when we graduated as a high schooler or wherever we graduated, there was always something that we looked forward to. More with the sense of being happy. It said, right now, I'm okay wherever I am, but once I get something, that becomes an accomplishment. But why do I need that accomplishment? To be happy only. So first accomplishment, let us say, was our degree that we got. Convocation day, when we threw our hats up, gave a warm hug to parents and gave nice speech and everything. That was an accomplishment, and it gave joy also. But things did not end there. We said, what next? It's not only sufficient I have a degree, I need a job. So that was the next thing we looked up to. And in between, there were a lot of ups and downs. I'm just highlighting the key accomplishments. You see that thing which is going up and down? That we don't need to discuss too much. Okay. Just the key accomplishment. The second one is getting a good job. Third accomplishment was to settle down in life. You see, I have a good job, degree, and everything is okay. I need a car. More not out of not out of luxury, but out of necessity in the beginning. And these goals kept evolving over time. Necessity became luxury, which is okay. But all in all, we have come a long way from where we started. So all of these are accomplishments. Now you can add your own, but I'm just taking few examples. We cannot take all examples at once. Last one, you can say buying a good house, where family can comfortably stay. It gives a sense of security that I am in my own house. Big, small doesn't matter, but it is my house. No matter where you travel, end of the day you say, I want to be in my house. Okay, these are some examples of what we can call as accomplishments in life. If you notice something very closely in each accomplishment, do you find any trend? There are several trends you can find. I will just point out few of them. One thing you will notice is all accomplishments were possible only because of hard work. Okay, each thing was not there before. I worked hard for it, then I got it. I was not born with a degree. I was not born with a job. Nobody gave me a car at birth, nor did I have a house, when I was born for myself. I worked hard in the world, and then these accomplishments came my way. But another thing to notice, these things were not there before. Only after I did something, I got that thing. Okay. So like this, when we look at our life, we form another conclusion. Okay, this was conclusion one. Second conclusion, what we come to is that everything in our life will come only by doing something. Because all my accomplishments that I am familiar with have come by doing something, I come up with this conclusion subconsciously that everything in my life will come by doing something, which we otherwise call as karma. This is the conclusion that Vedanta questions. What Vedanta says is, we cannot dismiss the fact that majority of things in our life comes by doing something. But there are few things which are already attained, which we don't have to do something to gain. Something which is there with me, but I have not paid attention to it. To obtain that thing, I don't have to do any action. Okay, example given is of that thin necklace which is around the neck. And if it goes behind, and because of the clothing and whatever I'm wearing on top of it, I don't realize it is there. And I keep searching everywhere. What is the means for me to attain that necklace? So I don't have to do anything. to gain that necklace. It's already with me. I just have to pay attention to it. So Vedanta says the nature of happiness, nature of unconditioned happiness is me myself. My true essence is Ananda, and that Ananda will not come by doing any action. It is already my nature. I just have to use the right means of knowledge to shift my attention to my higher nature. But remember, Vedanta is not dismissing the first part. What Vedanta is saying is, there are few things attained through karma, but there is that one thing which is beyond karma also. What is that one thing? That one thing is Atma, Brahma, that pure consciousness, which is my own nature. It will not come from outside. It is ever present, so I don't have to create it. Unlike all my other accomplishments, they were not there before. I worked hard for it and then I created it. Atma is ever present, ever experienced. I just have to know its nature very clearly. Okay, this is the whole framework of Vedanta. One portion will tell us about doing actions, doing karma. Another portion will tell us about knowledge. More clarity we have in both these aspects, our journey will be easy. We won't get stuck anywhere. We will not misunderstand one thing for another. Okay? So now these are the two words that I want all of you to pay attention to. One is called as doing, another is called as knowing. Okay, let's take an example. Hopefully it will be easier to understand through this. The classical example in Vedanta is of a crystal. Let us say I have a nice clear crystal, and on that there is a lot of dirt. So much so that I don't even see that crystal. Okay. So if I have to know that crystal, what is the first step I have to do? I have to clean the dirt through whatever means. Bring some water, bring some cloth, and then clean that dirt. But let us say that clean crystal, I take and keep it on a blue cloth. Now the crystal is clean by itself. The color of that cloth is falling on this crystal. Now what do I have to do to remove that blue color appearing in that crystal? Right? I don't have to polish the crystal. Even if I do it, I won't be able to remove that color. All I have to do is know that this crystal is colorless. The first step was doing, okay, polishing that crystal, removing the dirt of that crystal. But the second step I cannot miss, which is to know clearly that this crystal is colorless by itself. Okay? In Vedanta, the first step of doing, cleaning the crystal, is sadhana portion. Okay? That is called as nirmana. Bringing something new. Nirmana means creating something new. So I have to clean this crystal of this mind. Okay, bringing in new samskaras, having good thoughts. So that is a portion of cleaning the crystal. Second step is called as pramana, where I just have to know the nature of me, myself, which is Atman, which is devoid of all conditionings. The color that these thoughts keep projecting upon Atma, understanding that I, this Atman, is not affected by these thoughts. Just like this crystal is not affected by the color superimposed by that cloth, I, the pure consciousness, am unaffected by any of these conditionings. More I have done the step number 1 sincerely, easier it is for me to own up the second step. Right? Because second step, there is no action involved. Second step is only knowledge. And knowledge will never take place by doing any action. Any knowledge for that matter. If I say I'm ignorant of German language, okay, you are ignorant about German language, what are you going to do now? Is I'll go to the gym and do some exercise. Or I will run around over here, hoping that somehow or the other, I will learn German language. You see how funny it looks, right? If ignorance is the problem, knowledge is the solution. So if I don't know German language, I should study German language. That knowledge itself will remove that ignorance. So here also, when it comes to knowing, there is no action involved. I just have to clearly understand what is Upanishad trying to tell me. Okay, this classification, if it's clear, we'll move on to the next step now. These two words you note. One is called as nirmana, means creating something. Another is called as pramana. Now, on the spiritual path, for a spiritual seeker, what nirmana are we doing? What pramana do we need to know? Nirmana word all of you are familiar with. In India, the public works department is called as Nirmana Vibhaga. Means they create something. They create structures, they create roads, bridges, everything comes under their department. So it is called as Nirmana Vibhaga. And even in our life, we know several type of nirmana that we do. Puja Gurudev's BMI chart, if you look, B represents for body, right? So one thing that we are familiar with is nirmana of good health. It was not there before. I have to do some action and then alone I will get that. Merely by thinking about yogasana, one will not have a fit physical body. Merely by thinking about running or doing any exercise, I will not have it. I have to do some action to get that result. We know nirmana of different things in the world outside. Different structures we have created. So many things humans have created. What is the sign of a good nirmana? Let us take example of physical body. What is sign of a healthy body? We say body that doesn't demand attention is a healthy body. What is a healthy structure? Structure that is robust, which doesn't fall apart just with one wind coming or breeze blowing. One rain has come and this entire structure is shaky. I say that is not a good structure. Good nirmana is where there is less maintenance which is needed and it is more robust. Now this is worldly nirmana, what we are familiar with. For a spiritual seeker, that is our main point over here, what nirmana is the spiritual seeker seeking? We say the spiritual seeker is seeking nirmana of a beautiful mind. That is the inner development you call, inner evolution you call of a sadhaka. Just like we had a physical body that doesn't demand attention, this sadhaka has a beautiful mind that doesn't demand attention. It has a lot of immunity to face different kind of experiences coming from the world. And it is very, very robust. Even if challenging situations come, this sadhaka's mind is stable and strong that it doesn't crumble down very easily. How to do this nirmana, we will see later. What we are appreciating now is which portion in our spiritual journey comes by doing action. Nirmana means merely knowing is not sufficient. I have to put forth effort. And then result of that will be this. What is this? A beautiful mind. And just like other things were not there before and they came after some time, right? So a beautiful mind, nobody is born with by default. Okay, I have to put forth effort just like I do for physical body, even to get that beautiful mind. So in Puja Gurudev's BMI chart, this vasana, whatever samskaras we have, those should be very beautiful samskaras, good samskara, and mind should have good thoughts, non-bothering thoughts. That is part of nirmana. What is part of pramana? This is realizing the real you. What is the title of our retreat? Knowing myself to be pure consciousness, that which is devoid of all conditionings, we say that is pramana. I don't have to do any action to create that consciousness. I already am that consciousness, thinking myself to be this mind, this physical body, mistaking myself to be somebody else. Because it's a mistake, because it's an error, only knowledge is sufficient. This is the whole purpose of Upanishad. First purpose is to remove those negative tendencies, create a beautiful mind. And second purpose is to reveal my true nature as that Ananda Swarupa, unconditioned joy, which we otherwise call as Atma. Words are not important. What is important is what is pointed by that word. Otherwise, we keep saying the word Atma, but we think Atma is somebody else. Atma means pure consciousness. That Atma alone is infinite, which we call as Brahma. Okay, so that is why we study Upanishad. Now let us see how does Chandogya Upanishad address both these things. Okay, Nirmana and Pramana. Everybody with me so far? I cannot see your screens, but I hope you are with me. First thing is Nirmana Vibhaga. What does study of Upanishad do? Upanishads give us sadhanas to beautify the mind. Just like for this physical body, if we need a healthy body, we cannot randomly pick up some weight and just start doing something. We need a systematic method by which we can have a healthy body. Having a good mind, having a healthy mind also has a very systematic method. Through that, a sadhaka is able to overcome a rebellious mind. Okay, we are introduced to this fact that what travels with us is this mind only. Meaning, even after this physical body, what comes along with us is this mind. Meaning, the mind that we have right now is an ancient mind. That is why even in small children, sometimes you see so strong preferences. And you wonder, this child has not even had those experiences to develop such strong preferences. But we should remember, the body is young. All our bodies, age is of the physical body, this mind is an ancient mind. And to handle this is not easy. It needs very gradual, very patient conversation. And through that, this mind slowly starts becoming a good friend. That is a whole part of sadhana. That is a whole part of devotion to Bhagavan. Sometimes we wonder, why are there so many do's and don'ts, even in our puja or in our general practices? So many things they say, don't eat on this day, sit in this way, do pranam facing in that direction. Why so many do's and don'ts? We say it is all because of bringing this mind under our control. To help this, there are different stories which come in our Puranas. To help what? To help us understand this fact that I have to put forth effort in my beautification of mind project, and that alone will decide my future destination. All of you know the story of Raja Bharata. I don't have to tell the whole story. He got attached to a deer and he ended up having a deer body. Of course, he came back again and became great Mahatma. But what do all those stories tell us? That this is not the only life that we have had. We have had several bodies in the past and several in the future if we don't get moksha right now. But the main point is, let our life be so dharmic, so devoted that we don't have any concern, we don't have any anxiety about even our future destination. So this is the first part of Upanishad, which is called as Avasadhanam. I mean, this jiva who had no clue about spirituality, no clue about this fact that I should invest in my mind, that insight is given to this sadhaka. So in Chandogya Upanishad, majority of the chapters are about this topic, which we call as Upasana topic. Upasana means subtle meditation practices. All of it is to make this mind beautiful. Now our Mahatmas, they understood. We are unable to directly do those subtle meditation practices. So they gave us a very simplified form, which we today know as Bhakti Yoga. So it's a simplified version of those same upasanas. Everything, if you trace the root, you will find it in Upanishad only. Okay, no practices given by any Mahatma on their own. So what are these sadhanas? So the first sadhana they say is bring Bhagwan in your life. Choose a particular form of Bhagwan and develop that sambandha with Bhagwan. Sambandha means relation. Feel that Bhagwan is close to me and do all actions thinking as though Bhagwan is keeping an eye on me. Because his form is so beautiful, mind should get drawn towards him. Whichever form you take. Today we did it on Lord Shiva. Whoever is your Ishta Devata, their form we should take and try to absorb our mind in that form. But not only that, understanding the nature of Bhagavan and knowing that he is all powerful, in whom I can seek shelter, in whom I can seek ashraya. There is one stotram called as Subramanya Bhujanga Stotram that Bhagwan Shankaracharya has written on Skanda Bhagavan. There he writes one line, Bhagavan, my devotion to you is such that all my problems in my life are like the wave of that ocean. But the devotion to you is like that shore where this wave comes, crashes, and it just dissolves. You see the poetic beauty in his expression. You see how the wave comes on the shore and you don't even know where it went. It looked so big, but it just went into that shore. This Bhagwan, your form is like that, your nature is like that. But whatever anxieties I have in this world, which is bothering my mind so much, with your devotion, I can put everything at your feet. This is the first step towards having a beautiful mind. With that, knowing the form of Bhagavan, that he is not only limited to this a particular form, my Bhagavan alone is appearing as this entire creation. It takes a lot of time to settle in this understanding. That he is not only there in my puja room. In puja room, I have developed my sambandha with him. My connection with Bhagwan I develop in a particular form. But throughout my day, I stay constantly soaked in this remembrance of Bhagwan. Okay? So that is knowing his form. And the third one is chanting his name. Now, these sadhanas are such that on each one we can elaborate for 1 hour. Okay. But we have done it in other places, like in Upadesha Sara, so we don't have to again do it over here. That is why we need multiple text. Okay. We cannot cover everything in the same place. So if you say, what is that one thing that should happen after doing any sadhana? The main litmus test of a successful sadhana is it should invoke a sense of purity in our heart. And you will notice that this sense of purity does not come unless we actually do that sadhana. Means you cannot mentally say, okay, today I have done my japa. And somehow or the other create that thought of purity, what comes after doing japa. You say that doesn't work. You have to actually do it to see that result. Okay, just like you see the sense of purity that comes after taking a shower. Now you cannot trick your mind into saying that, I am pure without taking that shower. Right? Same thing with sadhana. Something we should have in our routine that will bring this sense of purity. This is the first part. Sadhanas for a beautiful mind. This is nirmana that Upanishads do. I hope you are following the chain of thought. Nirmana and pramana we saw. Nirmana means that which happens or comes about by doing something. And what do we need to bring about? A beautiful mind. So we are looking at right now how Upanishad addresses nirmana. Okay, so this is part of sadhana. Second thing what Upanishad does is it shows us what is the goal of life. For a long time, we have several things which we thought was the goal of life. But we realized when we reached there, something else showed up. What all things we saw, right? The accomplishments. We thought after buying a house, everything will be done. We said, no, that is only one point. Something else looks more appealing. I feel there is something more to accomplish. But Upanishads say to a sadhaka, what you are really looking for is happiness. And that happiness, what is the right place to find? That location, Upanishads will point out. So don't search it outside, search it within. How to search, we will explain, Upanishads say. But at least start searching in the right direction. All of you know the story of that lady who was searching for the needle, right? Not where it had been lost, but somewhere else she was searching where there was light. You see, you will not find it just because you have light above your head and you're searching over there. You have to search it in the right place. So this is called as gati. The second thing that Upanishads do, they point us where to find real happiness. Just like, if you have some sweet, right, some rasgulla or something, you say, where is the sweetness coming from? Not from the flour, not from any ingredient, but that sugar. So searching into sugar, like what you do, that is just like searching into nature of Atma. Different kinds of joy that I'm experiencing in this world, Upanishads say that joy is your own nature. It is just becoming available to you because mind has become quieter. Some desire is there, it has just taken away that agitation. In that quiet mind, I am experiencing my own Ananda. Okay, this is a second part of Upanishad, which is called as Gati. It points out to the real source of happiness. The last part of study of Upanishad is now Pramana Vibhaga. The first two were Nirmana, this is Pramana, where having known that this is the destination, when I start inquiring, I realize I was the one who had drifted away from my real nature. Okay, it is not that I am here right now, I have to go over here. I already am Atma. I think I am this mind, I am this jiva, and objects of the world have taken me away. Okay, that is a revelation that Upanishad gives. That is the third part, which is called as Pramana. Okay, it will take away what I am not, and it will help me establish in my true nature. So Puja Gurudev has given us, this same thing in a very beautiful BMI chat, but we should again and again try to appreciate where this fits under the Upanishadic framework. So the Om that we see over here is my own true nature. I just have to know it. There is no doing involved. Okay. And in his own inexplicable way, Gurudev has a quote where he says, I'm not lost in a dream. I'm just dreaming that I'm lost. Means Atma, I already am. I'm just taking myself to be somebody who I am not. The whole purpose of discussing Nirmana and Pramana was that we should not stop at only one. If we just stop at sadhana level, say we have not fulfilled our journey on this spiritual path, that sadhana should blossom and evolve such that his mind can appreciate Vedantic teachings. In fact, that is the whole purpose of getting a human body. What is the whole purpose? To purify our mind through different sadhanas and come to know of our own true nature as that Ananda Swarupa Brahma. Okay? And Pramana, again and again, I've been emphasizing, it will not come through action, it will come through knowledge only. So in your study group, we have these reflection questions. So pay attention to it and think about whether the statement is true or not. Everything in life cannot come through action. There is something which comes through just by knowing it. What is the importance of that thing? All that you can discuss separately. So this third part is called as Visharana. Okay, Visharana means removing the ignorance that I am a finite being. I am localized to this physical body, and all limitations of this body, mind, I take upon myself. That ignorance, when it is removed, that is called as Visharana. Upanishad will do all these three things. What is the first one? Avasadhanam. Okay. Making sure that we have a beautiful mind. Our next destination is good. It will point us to the right source of happiness, the goal of life. It will point out, which is called as Gati. And third one is, it will remove this ignorance and reveal our nature as Ananda Swarupa Brahma, which is called as Visharana. To accomplish this, there are 10 Upanishads, 10 major Upanishads. Isha, Kena, Katha, Prashna, Mundaka, Mandukya, Taittiriya, Aitireya, Chandogya, Brihadaranyaka. But we don't have to get overwhelmed by the number. The essence is the same. What we just saw, Nirmana and Pramana, that is what they will do. But in particular, Chandogya Upanishad is considered as one of the important Upanishads because majority of mantras that come in Brahma Sutra are from Chandogya. Majority of sutras that come in Brahma Sutra, they are from Chandogya Upanishad. So Bhagwan Shankaracharya has written commentary on these 10 Upanishads. Okay, that is why they are called as major Upanishad. And we will directly enter into the 6th chapter of Chandogya. As I said, the first chapters 1 until 5th chapter has lot of upasanas. Upasana means meditation practices, all those things are covered. 6th chapter onwards, there is teaching of Vedantic knowledge. Now you might ask, what is so special about Chandogya chapter 6? One speciality is Mahavakya, that infinitude revealing statement that comes in this 6th chapter. What is Mahavakya? In simple words, infinite space has started to think that I am only limited to this pot space. Okay, the space in the pot started thinking that I am just this pot space. Whatever is the dimension of the pot, space thinks that is my dimension. So Mahavakya as though is coming and telling this pot space, you are not this pot space, you are infinite space. This conditioning does not affect you in any way, it is only an appearance. Okay, what is this conditioning? In our case, conditioning of this mind, body, and everything, we say this is not real, it is only an appearance. You are that infinite consciousness. This infinitude revealing statement, now it is not sufficient just to make this statement. You need a systematic way to build up to it. So Chandogya chapter 6 will build us to that Mahavakya. That is one uniqueness. Another uniqueness is, many of you have studied Tattva Bodha, right? You might have studied Drigdrishya Viveka, several Prakarana Granthas. The original source from which those Prakarana Granthas are derived is Chandogya 6th chapter. If you see the creation process that is done in Tattva Bodha, you ask, where did it come from? Where did Shankaracharya ji write that from? He said he wrote it from Chandogya. In Drigdrishya Viveka, there are few verses. I will point out when we come to that point. They are taken from Chandogya 6th chapter. Second unique aspect of Chandogya Upanishad is, 6th chapter is, there are a lot of experiments that are done. So it's a dialogue between a student called Shvetaketu and his father. But the father, who is a Upanishad Rishi, his way of explaining is very unique. You ask a question, he doesn't directly answer. He gives an example. And there will be similarity between that example and what he wants to point out. Okay, that we have to catch. Don't get stuck with just the example. Because they will look like very simple examples, not very complicated. But the purpose is not to give a very outstanding example. Purpose is to communicate a point. As long as that happens, example has fulfilled its purpose. Okay. So this is one of the few Upanishad where so many examples are given. Otherwise, Upanishad need not give example, it need not give logic also. Upanishad is pramana. You say this color is yellow. Now what logic will you give? What other example need you give, right? This is yellow. Use your eyes and know that this is yellow. In that way, pramana works. What is the nature of Brahma? Upanishad will tell. That is it. You don't again have to ask questions. But this Upanishad is very compassionate. Shruti Mata, we say, right? So she will give several examples. Very slowly, this teaching is unfolded. Okay, with this much introduction, let us get started. I will have verses over here, and then you can chant and repeat after me. Shvetaketur aruneya asa, Shvetaketur aruneya asa, Tamha pito vacha, Tamha pito vacha, Shvetaketo vasa brahmacharyam, Shvetaketo vasa brahmacharyam, न वै सौम्य अस्मत्कुलीनो अननूच्य न वै सौम्य अस्मत्कुलीनो अननूच्य ब्रह्मबन्धुरिव भवतीति ब्रह्मबन्धुरिव भवतीति सः द्वादशवर्ष उपेत्य सः द्वादशवर्ष उपेत्य चतुर्विंशतिवर्षः चतुर्विंशतिवर्षः सर्वान् वेदान् अधीत्य सर्वान् वेदान् अधीत्य महामनाः महामनाः अनूचानमानि अनूचानमानि स्तब्ध एयाय स्तब्ध एयाय तम्ह पितो वाच तम्ह पितो वाच श्वेतकेतो यन्नु सोम्येदं महामनाः श्वेतकेतो यन्नु सोम्येदं महामनाः अनूचानमानि अनूचानमानि स्तब्धोऽस्युत तम् आदेशमप्राक्षः स्तब्धोऽस्युत तम् आदेशमप्राक्षः येनाश्रुतं श्रुतं भवति येनाश्रुतं श्रुतं भवति अमृतम् अमतं मतम् अमतं मतम् अविज्ञातं विज्ञातमिति अविज्ञातं विज्ञातमिति कथं नु भगवः स आदेशो भवतीति कथं नु भगवः स आदेशो भवतीति. So these are prose order verses. Every verse I will take on a slide and we will elaborate more. This slide is only for us to lead and repeat. But I hope all of you have your books. Okay, you have to look in your books. And as I said yesterday, go back to these mantras after the session. Okay. This is the dialogue between Shvetaketu and his father. His father is Uddalaka Muni. Aruneyaha means grandson of Aruni. Okay. Shvetaketu is grandson of Aruni. His father is telling him, "Oh Shvetaketu, you are 12 years right now. You have crossed your age of going to a Gurukula. Please go and study. Nobody in our lineage is a Brahmana only for namesake. Brahma Bandhu means he is Brahmana only for namesake. He doesn't have qualities, has not studied any scriptures. See, nobody in our family is like that. Oh Shvetaketu, please go and study from a teacher." He could have taught himself, but that was a tradition where no matter who that student is, they had to go to a different Gurukula and stay. Okay, so this is the first dialogue that happens between Uddalaka Muni and Shvetaketu. Now Shvetaketu goes to Gurukula and he comes back. Saha Dwadasha Varsha Upetya. Now he is 24 years old. Dwadasha Varsha means after 12 years. At the age of 24, he comes back. Chaturvimshati Varshaha Sarvan Vedan Aditya. He worked very hard. He studied all the Vedas. But how did he come back? In a very unique way. How does he stand in front of his father? He says, Mahamanaha. Now, all this is taken from Shankar Bhashya. I'm just giving you the English version of it. He says, "No one can think as deep as me. Maha Gambhira Manaha. Whatever topic I think about, I'm a very subtle thinker. Other students, I don't know what kind of thinking they do." Anuchana Mani, second quality that Shvetaketu had when he came back. He says, "I can teach anybody, I can answer all questions. Not only that I know all Shastra, but I can teach also." And third quality that he had was, he says, "Why should I bow down in front of anybody now?" Stabdha. Imagine going to a Gurukula, staying there for 12 years. Then he came back. This was his inner, unfoldment which happened there. It is said, Vedas or Vedanta, it will illumine all kind of thoughts that can come to a human being. Okay, Sarva Artha Prakashakaha is nature of Veda. Meaning sometimes when we look at these qualities, right, you wonder, is there a Shvetaketu sitting inside also? If he is sitting inside, then I have to just work on it and correct it. But Upanishads will address all kinds of thoughts, rather all kind of obstacles that can come for a spiritual sadhaka. Goswamiji writes in one Chaupai where he says, knowledge is meaningful only if it brings humility. Okay, example he gives, if there is something which is turned upwards, like a mountain or the roof of a house, no matter how much shower happens there, all water will run away. But at the same time, if it is in a different form, if it is like a shape where it can hold water, he says there this water will get accumulated. Okay, this Chaupai he says, Sumati Bhumi Thala Hrudaya Agadu. If a sadhaka can have a beautiful mind, which is that ground, okay, and large heartedness, being accommodative of different people, he says that will make the base in which this lake of Mana Sarovara will be formed. Different good qualities, message of Vedas, everything will get accumulated in that sadhaka and they will benefit from it. Benefit means what? Our mind will be very happy and cheerful. This knowledge we can benefit from. Okay. Morning session, I will go little over, because we have 7 sessions and this is a little longer Upanishad. Let me see your screen once. I hope all of you are with me and you're okay if I take a few more minutes. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So now, gurus are very wonderful. We should never think that we know more than our teacher. In cricket, they have something called as a googly, right? That you are prepared for something and you are given something else. Here there's a curveball, right? So Uddalaka Muni gives Shvetaketu that. What he was familiar with, he just shakes him a little bit and he tells him, Shvetaketu, you studied with your teacher for 12 years. You did all this thing. But did you ask your guru about that truth? He says, what is that truth? So his father, Uddalaka Muni says, it is that truth knowing which what is unheard becomes heard of. What is unthought of becomes thought of. And what is unknown becomes known. Yena ashrutam shrutam bhavati, amatam matam, avidnyatam vidnyatam. What is unheard becomes heard. What is unthought of becomes thought of. What is unknown becomes known. Shvetaketu wonders. First he says, how is such a thing even possible? Katam no bhagavaha sadesho bhavati. How is such a thing even possible? Means he is denying the possibility also of such a thing. Uddalaka Muni will answer it, but we should appreciate the depth of this question. This is called as Pratijna Vakya of Vedanta, means the promissory statement of Vedanta. If you have understood Vedanta, whatever is unheard of becomes heard of. Whatever is unthought of becomes thought of. Whatever is unknown becomes known. Meaning such a thing is only possible when I know that absolute cause from which this entire creation has come about. Otherwise, if you see, there are so many things to hear. So many things are unheard of. So many things are unknown. So many things are unthought of. But Upanishad wants to say that all this entire creation that is appearing in this plurality, all of it has only one cause. If you know that one cause, all effects are known. You don't have to individually know every effect, just know that one cause. And if you don't know it, if you just stay at the level of effect, one will never be able to say that I am content. Always there will be something else to look for. Something else will be there which is not known. That inner contentment will never come if I remain only at the level of effects. Means Upanishad Rishi is asking Shvetaketu, Shvetaketu, you think you have understood many things, but are you only at the level of effect, or have you inquired into that cause? Knowing that one cause, all effects become known. Have you asked your teacher about that truth? Okay, this is the deeper import of what this question is. But again, every statement is so deep, we should reflect more and more on it. Now, there are three examples, okay, which are given to show that by knowing the cause, all effects become known. In the interest of time, we will chant these verses together because these are prose verses. It might take a little longer if we read and repeat. I'll chant slowly so you can mark wherever I pause. Yatha somya ekena mrutpindena sarvam mrunmayam vijñātam syāt vācārambhanam vikaro namadheyam मृत्तिकेत्येव सत्यम यथा सौम्य एकेन लोहमणिना सर्वं लोहमयं विज्ञातं स्यात् वाचारम्भणं विकारो नामधेयं लोहमित्येव सत्यम यथा सौम्य एकेन नखनिकृन्तनेन सर्वं कार्ष्णायसं विज्ञातं स्यात् वाचारम्भणं विकारो नामधेयं कृष्णायसमित्येव सत्यम् एवं सौम्य स आदेशो भवतीति न वै नूनं भगवन्तः त एतद्वेदिषुः यद्धि एतद् अवेदिष्यन् कथं मे न अवक्षन्निति भगवान् स्त्वेवमेव तत् ब्रवीतु इति Tatha somyeti hovacha. Now, three examples are given to show that by knowing that one cause, all effects are known. Now, these are examples. This is not the main teaching. But because Shvetaketu asked, how is such a thing possible? So, Upanishad Rishi is just taking away that doubt that is there in Shvetaketu's mind, that Shvetaketu, such a thing is possible. If you understand the cause, all effects are known. The first example is given of a clay and pot. Okay. So Upanishad Rishi says, if you know the clay, yatha somya ekena mrutpindena, if you know the lump of clay, everything that is made from clay is known to you. You make pots, you make different types of jars, you make different shapes that you want. You even make a sculptor, even make a statue out of that clay. Everything is nothing but that clay alone. Meaning there are no two entities over here. Only one entity is there. What you call as pot is only a name. It is only a name and a form. And name and form can be infinite, but the substance is only one. Okay? So over there, clay alone is real. Pot is only a name and form. If you say, no, there are two things over there. If that is the case, then Upanishad Rishi says, you keep the pot, I will keep the clay. Okay? You keep the pot, I will keep the clay. You say, no, you cannot separate it. Why? Because there are no two things to begin with. There is only one thing. Okay? This part will keep coming back. Vacharambhanam vikaro namadheyam. Vacharambhanam means it is only a word. Vani vilasa it is called. It is only a word at the tip of my tongue. There is no real substance called as pot over there. Vikaraha means effect. All effects are nothing but names and forms. It is the substance alone, the cause alone, which is appearing as this effect. Mrittike tyeva satyam. What is real is clay alone. Okay. This example is simple. It will keep getting repeated in other examples. Now there is one word called as mithya. Vacharambhanam means it is mithya. Now this is a technical word. That is why I didn't directly translate it in English. What does the word mithya mean in Vedanta? Mithya means a thing is being perceived in spite of it not being there. Okay, avidyamanatve sati bhasamanatvam mithyatvam. It is not really there. What is there is the substratum only, but perception is happening of something else. Now we have several examples. The most famous one is the snake rope example, and this is one of the best pictures I found, of that snake rope. It's only a rope with a dewdrop over here and probably some small thing lying over there. But because conditions are such, it looks like a snake. So that illusory snake is called as mithya. Perception is happening, but it is happening in a place where it is not. Okay. In the same way, when we say world is an appearance, what we mean is world is nothing but Brahma. But perception of world is happening in a locus where it doesn't even appear. We'll come to that point later. In this one, you can just appreciate what is the role of the word called as mithya. Second example is given of blueness in the sky. Okay. Blue sky we see. Color is not there. We know that sky is not blue, but still we perceive it to be blue in color. So mithya doesn't mean perception stops. Perception continues. Only I know clearly the nature of substratum. Okay. Last one example is given of wave and water. Now wave is nothing but water with a name and form. If you go and try to scoop from that wave, you will not find anything called as wave. You will find only water. But it can give a lot of experience. If you are standing on the banks or you are standing on the shore, a wave can come and push you. A lot of experience can be there, but experience doesn't mean there is another entity called as a wave. Okay, it's only water which is there. So that is what is shown over here. So the word mithya also, we can reflect upon it more. Again, it will keep coming back, but I just thought of introducing it here. Vacharambhanam means it is mithya. So knowing gold, all ornaments become known. This is the third example which is given. That you know the substance which is gold, all different ornaments which are there, they become known. Now you apply the same Pratijna Vakya. If there is any ornament which is unheard of, and you say that it is gold ornament, you say, that I know. The substance I know, I might not know the particular name and form. But I know that whatever unheard of ornament is there, that is gold only. Unthought of ornament is there, that also I know should be gold only. Unknown ornament is there, I say I know gold. Whatever unknown thing is there right now, it is nothing but gold ornament. Just for this example, you can apply that. Later on, we will come to Vedanta. Say transaction will be done with gold ornament. Name and form transaction will be done with but what is real is only gold. Okay. So if you have Ram Parivar Murti, right? Weight of Ravana is more because he has 10 heads. If you just have Ram Parivar and Ravana and everybody, characters of Ramayana. And our Bhagwan Rama will be lean and thin with bow and arrow. We say that jeweler, he will decide the weight of that or price of that idol not based on name and form. He will not say it is Bhagwan Rama because that is why I'll make him more expensive. He said, no, Ravana is more expensive than Bhagwan Rama because he is looking at only the substance. So this is one example that is given just to show that by knowing the cause, all effects become known. Last example is of a nail cutter. In those days, there was a nail cutter. Nakhanikruntanena means a nail cutter, but it's unlike our nail cutter. This was one of the few images that are available of those old time nail cutters. I was wondering, cutting that nail, if your finger is saved, you are lucky. Look at that, sharpness and everything. That is how they used to cut, but it was made of iron. So if you know the iron, everything which is the product of that iron, all of that becomes known. Again, the same point, Upanishad Rishi is emphasizing. You know the cause, all effects will become known to you. Okay, Vacharambhanam vikaro namadheyam. Whatever is an effect is only name and form. Even in this nail, what is there is iron only. Okay, different names and forms are there. Okay, I think I will pause here. I was hoping to go to the next topic, but that we will cover in the next session. It's a very interesting topic that is going to come now. You might have studied several other Upanishads, right? You studied Kathopanishad, or at least heard of Kathopanishad. The student of that Upanishad is so sattvic, he has so much of vairagya, and then the teaching is given to him. But the student of Chandogya Upanishad is very interesting. He's an arrogant student, like our Shvetaketu, Stabdaha, Mahamanaha, Anuchanamani. But still to him, this teaching is given. Not only that, he benefits from this teaching and later on says, "Oh teacher, I have understood this truth." So what is it that made Uddalaka Muni teach Shvetaketu in the first place? Okay. That we will see in the next session. There might be some questions in your study group which were not covered in this session. You can just skip them, discuss it the next time. Okay. There are some important announcements, so please stay back. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. You can stop my screen share.